Not a single scholarship offer outside the state of Texas. A three-star recruit every major program passed on. Fast forward, an MVP trophy, 3 Super Bowl rings, and a contract worth up to $503 million. Patrick Mahomes didn't just become an NFL legend, he rewrote what was possible for a quarterback. But greatness isn't a straight line. Behind the comebacks and championships are devastating collapses, painful defeats, and a Super Bowl performance so bad it silenced an entire dynasty. How did an overlooked kid from East Texas become the most feared player in football? Patrick Mahomes. The second entered the world in Tyler, Texas on September 17, 1995. His childhood unfolded in the shadow of stadium lights, with his father, Pat Mahomes Sr., pitching across 6 major league teams over 11 seasons. Clubhouses became familiar ground, and the routines of professional athletes shaped his earliest memories. LaTroy Hawkins, a close family friend and longtime teammate of Pat Sr., was a regular presence, offering both support and a glimpse into the seriousness required at the highest level. After his parents separated, Randy Martin kept the home lively and sports-centered, raising Patrick and his siblings in Texas, while Pat Sr. traveled for baseball. Stories swirl about a 10-year-old Mahomes launching a baseball more than 200 feet, but no verified record confirms that feat. What is certain? The lessons learned in those years, preparation, competition, and resilience, were absorbed, not inherited. NFL stardom was never guaranteed, but the foundation of discipline was set long before any recruiting stars appeared beside his name. At White House High School in East Texas, Patrick Mahomes' athletic identity took shape in ways that couldn't be ignored. On Friday nights, he racked up 3,839 passing yards and 46 touchdowns as a junior, then soared to 4,619 yards and 50 touchdowns in his senior season. His legs added nearly 1,000 rushing yards and 15 more scores, while basketball and baseball seasons filled the rest of the calendar. The Max Preps National Male Athlete of the Year honor for 2013 to 2014 captured his rare status: a quarterback with a 93-mile-per-hour fastball, a scorer on the hardwood, and a leader who made winning normal in White House. Yet, the recruiting world saw only a 3-star quarterback, promising, but not a sure thing. No college outside Texas offered a scholarship. Scouts questioned his mechanics and wondered if his style would translate. The Detroit Tigers drafted him in the 37th round, but Mahomes chose football, not because it was expected, but because he wanted the ball in his hands when it mattered most. The numbers didn't fit the label, and neither did he. Texas Tech offered the kind of freedom Mahomes had always craved. Arriving as a freshman in 2014, he waited behind Davis Webb, then seized his chance when opportunity knocked mid-season. The Red Raiders' offense became his canvas. By his sophomore year, he was leading the nation in total offense, piling up 4,653 passing yards and 36 touchdowns. Total offense meant every yard he gained, whether by arm or on the run, and Mahomes was relentless. Then came October 22, 2016, a wild night against Oklahoma, where he squared off with Baker Mayfield and rewrote the record books: 734 passing yards, 819 total yards. Yet, Texas Tech still fell 66-59. It was brilliance without reward, a jaw-dropping reminder that even the greatest efforts can end in defeat. After his junior season, Mahomes declared for the 2017 NFL Draft, ready to test his gifts at the highest level. NFL scouts saw a puzzle in Patrick Mahomes. His arm could launch deep throws from impossible angles, and he thrived when plays broke down. But doubts lingered about his footwork, decision-making, and whether the wide-open Texas Tech offense had prepared him for the pros. The NFL Draft Advisory Board issued a second-round grade, suggesting he was more project than polished product. Yet on draft night, the Kansas City Chiefs made a bold move, trading away future first-round picks to climb to the 10th overall spot. General manager Brett Veach and head coach Andy Reid saw potential where others saw risk. Mahomes landed in Kansas City as the backup to Alex Smith, given time to learn, while the football world waited to see if raw talent could be molded into greatness. Patrick Mahomes spent his rookie season on the sideline, learning from Alex Smith and absorbing the rhythms of the Kansas City offense. With each week, he studied film, tracked coverages, and watched how Smith handled the weight of leading a playoff contender. When his chance finally arrived in Week 17 of 2017 against Denver, Mahomes stepped onto the field with little fanfare. He delivered a poised, late game-winning drive, showing calm beyond his years. After the season, the Chiefs traded Smith away. With only one career start, Mahomes was named the starter at age 22. The franchise put its future in his hands, betting that the lessons learned in waiting would be just as important as raw talent. The first full season with Patrick Mahomes at the helm did not unfold quietly. Defenses braced for a learning curve, but what followed was a storm of numbers and moments that defied every expectation. Mahomes threw for 5,097 yards and 50 touchdowns, figures that, until then, had belonged to the legends of the game. Week after week, his throws bent the boundaries of what a quarterback was supposed to attempt, let alone complete. The league took notice. The NFL's Most Valuable Player award, given to the top performer of the regular season, landed in Kansas City for the first time in franchise history. Mahomes was also named to the Pro Bowl, football's annual all-star showcase, and earned first-team All-Pro honors, a distinction reserved for the very best at each position. But the season was more than a personal highlight reel. For the first time since 1993, the Chiefs reached the AFC Championship game. The stadium shook with hope as Kansas City forced New England into overtime, an extra period played when regulation ends in a tie. One final drive by the Patriots ended the Chiefs' run. But the message was clear. The gamble on Mahomes had paid off. Kansas City had found its leader, and the league had a new force to reckon with. The 2019 postseason began with a nightmare. Kansas City fell behind 24-0 to the Houston Texans in the divisional round, the kind of hole that usually buries a team's Super Bowl hopes. But Patrick Mahomes refused to let the moment define him. In just over a quarter, he led the Chiefs on 7 straight touchdown drives, turning a blowout into a 51-31 victory and stunning everyone who thought the game was over. The next week, the Chiefs faced the Tennessee Titans and again trailed early. But Mahomes' blend of arm talent and improvisation pushed Kansas City to its first Super Bowl appearance in half a century. Super Bowl 54 in Miami brought a new challenge. Down by 10 points to the San Francisco 49ers, with less than 7 minutes left, Mahomes faced the weight of expectation and the sting of doubt. He responded with 2 touchdown passes in under 5 minutes, flipping the score and sending the Chiefs to a 31-20 win. The comeback wasn't just about points, it was about resilience, written in real time. For his performance, Mahomes earned the Super Bowl Most Valuable Player award, becoming the youngest quarterback ever to win it at that time. In one postseason, he transformed from underdog to champion, rewriting what was possible when the odds said it was over. In July 2020, Kansas City made their intentions unmistakable. The Chiefs handed Patrick Mahomes a 10-year contract extension, reported as being worth up to $503 million. That phrase, "up to," carried weight. The headline number set a record for professional sports, but it represented the maximum possible value, not a guarantee that every dollar would be paid. The deal included performance triggers and injury protections, but what mattered most was the statement it made. No NFL team had ever committed so much for so long to a quarterback. With this contract, Kansas City transformed their faith in Mahomes into a new kind of pressure. the expectation to deliver greatness for a decade to come. Kansas City raced through the 2020 regular season, stacking 14 wins in their first 15 games. The offense hummed with the confidence of a team that had just signed its quarterback to the richest deal in league history. In the playoffs, Mahomes faced a scare against Cleveland. A hard tackle left him staggering and forced him into concussion protocol. For a moment, the future of the Chiefs' title defense hung in the balance. He cleared the tests, returned to lead a convincing win over Buffalo, and the path to another Super Bowl seemed inevitable. But in Tampa, the story changed. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers waited, and from the opening drive, the Chiefs' protection crumbled. Tampa Bay's defense battered Mahomes, collapsing the pocket with relentless pressure. Receivers struggled to break free, and every snap became a scramble for survival. For the first time since taking the starting job, Mahomes looked human, harried, hurried, and unable to find the end zone. Kansas City managed only 3 field goals. The final score, 31-9, left no doubt. Mahomes finished with 0 passing touchdowns and 2 interceptions. The defeat was total, tactical, and physical. A reminder that even the brightest star can be dimmed when the foundation cracks beneath his feet. The 2021 season forced Patrick Mahomes to confront a new kind of challenge. Defenses had started to solve the riddle, dropping extra defenders into coverage and daring him to take the short gains. For the first time, his improvisational genius began to backfire. In the opening stretch, Mahomes threw 13 interceptions in just 6 games, more than he'd ever tossed in a full season. The very traits that once made him unstoppable, his confidence to throw across his body, his refusal to give up on a broken play, suddenly turned into liabilities. Each forced pass felt like a gamble, and the margin for error shrank with every tipped ball and turnover. But Mahomes never let the frustration define him. He studied tape, adjusted his reads, and learned to take what the defense gave him. The season's crucible arrived in the playoffs against Buffalo. With just 13 seconds left and trailing by 3, Mahomes engineered a drive that will be replayed for decades, 2 completions, a field goal, and then a walk-off touchdown in overtime. Kansas City survived, and the legend of Mahomes in the clutch only grew. Yet the next week, heartbreak returned. Against Cincinnati in the AFC Championship, Mahomes looked unstoppable in the first half, then faltered. A late interception set up the Bengals' game-winning drive in overtime. The loss stung, and the offseason brought even more uncertainty as Tyreek Hill, his most explosive weapon, was traded to Miami. The question hung in the air. Could Mahomes continue to redefine greatness without the league's fastest receiver? Questions about Patrick Mahomes' limits grew louder as the 2022 season began. Tyreek Hill, the receiver who once turned broken plays into touchdowns, was gone. Opponents settled into deep zones, daring Mahomes to find new answers. Instead of shrinking, he rewrote the script. By season's end, he had thrown for 5,250 yards and 41 touchdowns, more than anyone in the league. The Chiefs' offense stayed unpredictable, spreading the ball to new faces, never letting defenses settle. The path was anything but smooth. In the divisional playoff, Mahomes suffered a high ankle sprain, a brutal injury for any quarterback, let alone one whose game depends on movement. Trainers taped him up, but every step showed pain. Yet he refused to come out, limping through the next drives, making throws that defied both logic and medical advice. The AFC Championship brought a familiar foe: Cincinnati, the team that had ended Kansas City's dreams just a year earlier and beaten them 3 times in a row. This time, Mahomes held nothing back. On a battered ankle, he scrambled for a desperate first down in the final seconds, drawing a late hit that set up the winning field goal. Kansas City was going back to the Super Bowl. Against Philadelphia, Mahomes faced another test. Down at halftime, he aggravated the injury but never left the field. In the second half, he led 3 touchdown drives, moving the ball with a mix of quick passes and gutsy runs. The Chiefs won 38-35, and Mahomes was named Super Bowl MVP. He became the first player to win the NFLMVP, Super Bowl MVP, and lead the league in both passing yards and touchdowns in a single season. The season wasn't just about numbers. It was about adaptation, endurance, and answering every doubt with action. By the time the 2023 playoffs arrived, the conversation around Patrick Mahomes had shifted. Analysts questioned whether his drive and consistency could hold up after so many years at the top. Instead of home field comfort, Kansas City faced a gauntlet of road games. The Chiefs opened with a win in freezing temperatures against Miami, then traveled to Buffalo, where Mahomes outdueled Josh Allen in a hostile stadium. The final test came in Baltimore, with the Ravens boasting the league's best defense and a roaring crowd. Each victory required a different answer: quick strikes, patient drives, and relentless poise. By the end, Kansas City had survived every environment and every doubt, earning a place in Super Bowl 58 and standing on the edge of a third straight championship, a feat no quarterback had achieved in the modern era. Super Bowl 58 unfolded with the Kansas City Chiefs staring down a familiar opponent, the San Francisco 49ers, and a deficit that lingered for most of the night. Each time the Chiefs clawed within reach, San Francisco answered, forcing Mahomes and his offense to chase rather than dictate. The clock drained, the field tightened, and every mistake threatened to end the dream of a repeat. But Mahomes refused to let the moment slip away. Late in the fourth quarter, he led a drive that tied the game, sending the Super Bowl into overtime for only the second time in history. The tension inside Allegiant Stadium was thick as Kansas City took the ball, needing a touchdown to win. Play after play, Mahomes found answers, scrambling on third down, threading passes through tight windows, refusing to settle for a field goal. With the 49ers' defense exhausted and the stakes at their highest, Mahomes delivered the game-winning touchdown. The victory sealed back-to-back Super Bowl championships for Kansas City and pushed the conversation beyond simple greatness. In that instant, the word dynasty became impossible to ignore. Kansas City's 2024 campaign stands as a study in contrasts. A 15-2 record and a plus 215-point differential suggest dominance on paper. But the reality was far less comfortable. Week after week, the Chiefs found themselves locked in battles that came down to a single play, a single call. Several wins hung on the edge of controversy, moments when a flag stayed in a referee's pocket or a replay review stretched the definition of clear evidence. The numbers added up to one of the league's best records, yet each victory seemed to require every ounce of Mahomes' resourcefulness and nerve. The pressure mounted with every close finish. For the first time in the modern era, a quarterback stood on the verge of leading his team to a third straight Super Bowl, what the league calls a three-peat. With history pressing in and the line between greatness and heartbreak razor thin, Kansas City arrived at another championship game, carrying both the weight of expectation and the scars of a season lived on the edge. From the opening snap of Super Bowl 59, the Philadelphia Eagles imposed their will on both sides of the ball. The line of scrimmage belonged to them 6 times. Kansas City's pocket collapsed, and Patrick Mahomes was driven to the turf. Each play seemed to tighten the vise, each sack chipping away at the confidence that had carried the Chiefs through so many tight finishes. The Eagles' defense, relentless and disciplined, forced Mahomes into hurried throws and desperate escapes. Pressure turned into disaster early in the second quarter. First, a tipped pass landed in the hands of linebacker Zach Bond, ending a promising drive. Minutes later, rookie safety Cooper DeJean jumped a slant route and raced untouched for a pick six. The scoreboard told the story: Philadelphia 24, Kansas City 0 at halftime. The Chiefs' sideline, so often a source of swagger, fell silent. Mahomes finished the night with 174 passing yards, no touchdown passes, and 2 interceptions, numbers that stand as the lowest of his postseason career, confirmed by the official gamebook. The Chiefs' offense, usually a blur of motion and invention, managed only 22 points, most coming after the outcome was already decided. The Eagles added a third interception late, snuffing out any hope of a miracle comeback. By the final whistle, the score read 40-22, the most lopsided defeat Kansas City had suffered with Mahomes at quarterback. There was no late rally, no signature moment of resilience to soften the blow. The dream of a three-peat ended not with a dramatic twist, but with a game that left no room for excuses. For the first time, Mahomes walked off the Super Bowl stage, outplayed, outmatched, and with every doubt laid bare. Today, Patrick Mahomes stands as proof that greatness is never guaranteed. It's demanded, tested, and earned in the harshest moments. Every record and every defeat sharpen the debate. Is legacy defined by how high you climb or how you respond when the world questions your fall? The next chapter waits. The legend, unfinished, reminds us that doubt is fuel and resilience writes history.